Hi guys, it's Bess here, and I am with something I want to tell you guys. Um, Me and my mom were talking yesterday, and what we were talking about is how is how I is what I used to feel and how I feel now. Let me break it down for you. You know, in some of my videos, I told you that I used to feel depressed and all that. This is a part of it. You see, a long time ago, I told you guys about my hometown, where I used to live as a child. Before, you know how I said that I was a good kid, I never made a mistake, I never got in trouble? Well, when I was 5, I never wanted to be a good child. I wanted to be a bad child. So at 5 years old, I was pushing myself to be a bad kid. But every time I try, my mom and dad just saw me as a good kid because the mistakes I was doing were small, minor mistakes, while my brothers were doing the mistakes that are not like my mistakes, if you get what I mean. So my brothers would get in trouble, not me. So I kept pushing myself. Each and every day, I kept pushing myself until I realized that all I'll ever see would be just a good kid. So I gave up trying to be a bad kid. The reason I gave up trying was after we moved to Rensselaer, which was the first place I got into school. My father was being a jerk, so me and my mom and my brothers had to move away. So we moved with my grandpa in Rensselaer. After we moved, everything started to change, and that is where my anxiety kicked in. And what was worse is when I got into school. When I got into school, for the very first time of making friends, because before in Waterville, the school I was in, I was having a great time. I had no problem making friends. I was so outgoing. People loved my actions. They loved saying hi to me. I was almost like the popular girl in school. But then after we moved and I got into school, I didn't feel like I felt like I was the new kid. I felt like an outcast. And that is where my anxiety started too. That's where my anxiety started. My anxiety kicked in. I started sweating. I wanted to hide myself away from people. I wasn't like myself. I was so different, and that was so unusual to my mother. My mother was noticing some change in me, but I didn't tell her. And at school, I was so scared of making a mistake. I was scared to raise my hand because I'm afraid I would get the answer wrong, and I'm afraid I might trip over myself and people will laugh at me. So I just stayed put, not doing anything. And what made it worse is that I got bullied. That's what made it worse, too, in the process. I was blamed for something I didn't. I kept being blamed for something I didn't do. I would be pushed around like a puppet. It's just everything that has happened to me. It was so hard for me. It was, like I said to you guys before. But that wasn't just the only thing. I was still anxious in school. And this is something I never told my teacher or my classmates either, my friends, is that I was always anxious and depressed at the same time when I was around them. It wasn't because of them, it was because of what was going on at my house. Because every time I would come home, something bad starts happening and I get abused. I would get abused, I would get hit, slapped, pushed. It wasn't pretty. And I had to deal with that until I decided to stay home from school. That was the reason I kept staying home. I was anxious to tell people how I really felt. So I kept it away. I kept it hidden. I hid my real self away from others. And you know how people with anxiety are, of how they had to go through all that. They have voices in their head telling them all these sort of things, and that just makes it worse for them. They would get sweaty. They would try to hide themselves in the dark away from other people so they wouldn't want to meet them. They wouldn't want to raise their hand in class or make a mistake so they won't get in trouble. That is where I was innocent at the time. At the time, I was innocent because my anxious part of me didn't want to do anything. I was scared. But then my mom decided that it wasn't the case for me. Let's homeschool you. I was homeschooled 3 times until I had enough. But before all that, I was homeschooled. Everything was okay for me. I only had 30 days, but my mom decided to put me back into school. I was scared again. My anxiety kicked in a lot more. My anxiety got worse. I tried telling my mom that I don't want to go, but she said I had no choice. So we put me back into school. That is where I met Katea and the rest of my friends in 4th grade. This is how the bullying started. After we got me into school, I met my classmates and my teacher in 4th grade, but I was shy. I was anxious and shy. But then some of my friends called my name out, but one of them got my name wrong. But I was saying to my mom, "Are you sure this is going to be okay?" And she was like, "Of course." And she left and I was stuck in the classroom. Some of my friends wanted to meet me, but I didn't really want to go near them because I was still anxious. And after the introduction and all that, a few hours from now, I started to get bullied. I got picked on, laughed at, because I was a new girl, and I don't know, I kept asking myself, why are they picking on me? Was it the way I look? Am I that bad? Did I not brush my hair this morning? What was going on? But then, after all that, a couple more months, it still went on in 4th grade. I was still bullied. And that is where I decided I should speak up. So I was like, "Can you leave me alone? I don't know what's your deal, but I'm really not comfortable with you picking on me like this, and I don't even know what's your problem." I tried speaking up for myself. It seemed to work a little, but it didn't. They still kept going. Until one day, I was blamed for something I didn't do. And that was, I was talking with one of my friends from my mom's boyfriend's sister's house. I was talking to one of my friends there. His name was Michael, and he was older than me, and he was in a different grade. I was talking with him. He brought up about my friends and the guys who were bullying me. And I was like, oh, they're great friends. I didn't say anything bad to them until the next day at school. I was being blamed for complimenting them. I don't even know, and I didn't even see the two bullies who are now my friends from the corner of my eye while I was talking with Michael. I didn't see them. They were nowhere around, so how would they hear me talking with him? Or actually, it probably came from my friend Michael because Michael's a troublemaker now. And he probably told them some bad things about them that I didn't say. I would never say anything bad to the people I would meet. I never did anything wrong. So they blamed me. I tried telling them that I wasn't doing that. He was probably the one who told them. But I still got blamed anyway. I had to take the blame for it. But enough of all of that. Because some of you guys already know how it started, and I'd rather not, and for some of you who don't, I'd rather not say the whole story because it's painful to remember. But back in the day, I was such a happy kid. I was so happy, so cheerful. I never lost my smile. I never lost any glimmer of hope in me. But then when we moved, I changed. I was anxious, and the feelings that I felt were so uneasy. They felt uneasy, and I felt sick to my stomach. The feelings that I would feel. I would feel grief. I would feel cruel, mean, selfish, demanding, fearless, horrible. I would feel and suicidal because I would try to kill myself. I tried to kill myself. I don't know how many times. Those feelings I felt, they felt sick to my stomach so much. Because I kept talking to myself. That is what calmed me down in my home. That is where I became a shut-in. I shutted everyone out, especially my mother, and that was so unlike me. I shutted everyone out. I wanted to make people afraid of me, so I got mean to them. I would get mean. I would be rude. I wouldn't be like myself anymore. I wasn't myself. I was different. I wasn't the Beth they used to know as a child. The Beth they used to know was always happy, always would put a smile on people's faces, and always would want to help people. Now, it's like they saw a new Beth that wanted to just be a horrible person and be a liar, not an honest person at all. And that made me feel guilty because I was shutting out the people that I love, and I was shutting out the world for wanting to meet me. Like to my friends. I wanted to shut everybody out, just everyone, including my friends. And I wanted to make people scared of me by being mean to them. But that is when some of them didn't get scared, but they got fearless at me. They were getting fierce. And That was my weakness. They got fearless back at me. They kept talking back at me like the way that I do, and that was my weakness. And when it was, that's when I would stop. But I would still be my rude self. And you know what's worse? I have a part of me that tells lies. Or I had, keyword had, a part of me that would tell lies. And there were other parts of me that I never showed, especially that one. Well, let's just say I never shown the real me for years. And that is because before I didn't know what to do for my life. I was stuck in one space and then after the other. I wasn't like myself before. Now I don't even know what I am now. Am I still my depression and horrible self, or am I back to being a happy person like I was 5 years old? What am I today now? Am I both, or am I one of the other? And honestly, that's what I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out who I am, of who I was really meant to be. Am I meant to be honest and a liar? Or am I meant to just be honest? Like, people lie from time to time, and people are still honest. Like, can't they do both? But then again, lying is bad, being honest is good. I felt like I have to choose, which I don't like to do. Because I always like to choose both things, not choosing one or the other. But enough of that. I would say that some of my strengths and weaknesses and my feelings before, they're all gone. I would say that I feel more different now than I used to. I don't feel as depressed. I don't feel as horrible. I don't feel as selfish. I don't feel any of those anymore. And I don't have those weaknesses. Because before, I abused my feelings in a way that would make me feel guilty and make others feel sad about me. And that went on for a couple of months. And after we moved here, I became more subtle. I felt more subtle after moving where I am now, from what I told you guys where I lived. A little bit, but after I moved here, I became subtle. I was just having neutral feelings, where I felt a little selfish but still feel a little happy. Because I wanted to get out of my grandpa's house that was filled with 6 people, which I don't like crowds. I hate crowds. And I hate loud noises. Before, I would cover my ears, but now with the loud noises, I'm kind of used to it. So I'm getting used to loud noises, but I'm still not used to crowds. But honestly, after moving here, this is something you guys should know a little bit. After getting on YouTube, I was a bit scared. Cause I didn't know if people would like my videos or not. So I kept going just to see, and I did get a little support, but that was just a little bit because at the time I was new to all of this, so people weren't seeing all of my videos just yet. But then I decided to make a new friend on the internet, and that is where I met Birdie Senpai. I met Birdie Senpai on one of his old videos, and I commented on them. I commented on one of them, and I said, "Hi, can we become friends? Because I really love your videos, and I think you're a really nice person." And, or something like that. And he was like, "Sure, let's do it." Birdie is a really nice guy. Some of you probably know who he is, but for some of you, that's okay. You'll have to check him out. So, I don't know. If you guys want to, so you can know more about him, that's okay. But I commented on one of his videos again, but this time I wanted to give him something for being such a good friend. So I was saying to him, "Hey, look, I have a video that I want to give you as a gift, but I do not know how to give it to you, though. That's the problem." But then this certain someone helped me see a new light in my future. This someone is Poco per Poco. Some of you know him, some of you don't. And for Shadow, if you don't know who Poco is, he was the one that was greeting you and Hannah to our friend group. He was the one who was greeting you. But the person who helped me get my video to Birdie was Poco. And that is where I was shocked. Because I was asking myself, why is he helping me? No one's ever helped me before. Because for years now, I would always help people. But as I changed to be a different person before, that is where I just gave out advice. Then I went back to helping people. But now someone is helping me. And this is where I became friends with Poco too. And him and Birdie, they know each other a lot. They know each other a lot more than I do, cause I never know I didn't know who they were, but they were pretty chill. They were pretty cool. And we started all hanging out with them. So with Delencia, and that is when Katea finally showed up. I got to see her again, too. But me and her still kept talking, but she came onto the internet on my channel. And honestly, there is something about Poco that I do want to say about him, but I will not say it yet until the timing is right. But I will say this. Maybe after I am 17, I will tell you something about Poco that none of you guys know. It's a surprise. And I hope you guys won't be upset with me. I hope you guys don't freak out or anything, because this is something a little important in a good way. So, yeah. But enough of all that. I just wanted to say that, but yeah, guys. Do you think I changed a lot over the years? Because I feel like I do. I feel like I don't feel as much as my depressed self anymore, even if there is still a part of me that still feels icky and somewhat sad in the middle, but I feel more confident in myself than I used to. So that's helping. So I kind of feel emotionally and mentally better. But I feel way more physically better though. And you know, when people yell at me now, I roll my eyes and I'm just like, can you stop the yelling? 'Cause this is getting old. You yelling at me is just getting old. I'm not afraid of it anymore. So try yelling at somebody else. That is how I felt when people get upset and yell at me. So I would say that I guess I completely changed a lot. And I stood my ground and I never got myself hurt. But I think I'm done talking here. But I wanted to tell you guys how I used to feel and how I feel now because I feel like you guys should know. Because this is some story that I want you guys to overthink. Because this is a video that I want you guys to think about. And I don't know, I want you to give your opinions out to me. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye, guys.